Hare Krishna. Welcome to Krishna Connection Srimad Bhagavatam study. We are continuing studying from the second canto, chapter 2. Anybody likes to start the reading? Okay, I can start. He turned his attention back to Shukadeva, who continued to speak. To achieve enlightenment, you must disregard material comfort and be satisfied with the bare necessities of life. Perceiving the futility of worldly gain, live simply and determinedly pursue self-realization. He indicated many hermits in the assembly. These ascetics do not even need beds. They lie on the bare ground using their arms as pillows. My grandmother often says this. She has been doing it for decades. She says, Devri yaak kai kottirodu dimbugoskara. You don't need any other thing as a pillow. God has given you this place. This is enough as a pillow. She always uses this. She doesn't use pillows. So now I'm like finding a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam that says that arms as pillows. That's amazing. Wearing tree barks or discarded clothes, they eat fruits and berries growing freely in the wild and drink river water. If they need shelter, they go to mountain caves. Satisfied with the Lord's provisions, they do not have to beg charity from proud materialists. Very good points here. These are principles, okay? Principles. By the way, these principles are very scientific. It is actually stated that pillows can harm the neck and people can actually have many neck problems with pillows. Whereas, people who use their arms as a pillow do not experience such problems. And also people who, say, for example, who eat healthy fruits, berries, things like that, and drinking a lot of water, you naturally get good health when you are in that situation. So these are principles that we can apply according to our time, place, and substance. But this principle is huge. To not beg charity from proud materialists. This is a very, very important principle. To not bow down before anybody else, because we're servants of God and we do not need to crawl before anyone else. We stand straight with head up with dignity as a devotee of Krishna. This is applicable in not just physical situations. Also, we don't go and beg affection, attention, respect from people who don't give us. So we develop a deep inner sense of identity, validation that comes from the fact that Krishna says, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We belong to Krishna. I am Krishna's. I am good enough. I don't need any other human being of this world to validate my worth, because I am worthy, because I am Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke. Krishna says, I am his. I belong to Krishna. Krishna doesn't produce junk. Krishna always produces amazing things. So you are amazing. So this sense of identification does not let us get on our knees with people who are not worthy of our surrender. Once we, this, they say, what is it? There's a beautiful bhajan, Shira. Once this head has touched your lotus feet, my Lord, let it not bow down before anybody else. Again, that similar song which says, Nai kunnigalante parara pidisuta. Let me not go and bother people like a dog and a puppy.
Kayalarina Krishna.
Yeah. To not wait upon these mundane materialists. Another point that came was also sometimes our plans, when it doesn't work out, we sometimes get desperate and take material efforts by sacrificing our dignity. And that's not wise. Okay. So it's a very befitting here. The ascetics, he indicated, bowed their heads and folded their palms as Shukadeva continued with his teaching. So you see this, oh yeah, there is this song, bhajan, it's called Bhushana ke Bhushana, Idu Bhushana. Kangala noduvudu, Hariga noduvudu, Kangalige Bhushana, like that. It says every part of the body is meant to be in service of the Lord, and the head is meant to bow down only in front of Vishnu and his devotees, of course. Somebody likes to continue from here?
Such transcendental and determined self-realization by serving the super soul. Hare Krishna, somebody said something? Haribol?
No, continue.
Such transcendentalists are determined to achieve self-realization by serving the super soul, who is the eternal and unlimited Supreme Lord. Attaining his association is life's ultimate goal. Worshipping him destroys ignorance of one's eternal spiritual identity, which is the root cause of repeated birth and death. Sukadeva's expression was somber as he went on. Everywhere materialists suffer the results of their foolish acts. By pursuing wealth and sensual enjoyment, they fall into a great river of suffering. Despite seeing this, they stubbornly refuse to worship the Lord. From the corner of his eyes, Parikshit caught sight of the Karma Mimamsha followers who appeared chastened. Sukadeva's words must have penetrated their hearts. Placing his palms together, the king asked Sukadeva to explain what the...
Okay, let's pause here. This one, there's this bhajan. Salu salemmeya solade tolevaro sali gramake nirereyaro jana beduvaro sukhava rangaya ninna beduvaro sukhava hitta tulidu omme hitta bisuvaro kuttaro rangavalliya. So these two principles, it's the same principle that Shukadeva Goswami is mentioning here. I want to take a note of this song. Buffaloes. People, traditionally it was buffaloes. Today it's cars, I guess. People washed buffaloes without becoming tired. They would go and wash the buffaloes, but they will not take a few drops of water to pour on Saligram Shila, which again indicates a sense of over endeavor. Atyahara prayasascha. They're making so much endeavors for material sense gratification. I mean, buffaloes were used for getting some milk and maybe transporting things, but they're so dedicated to like taking care of the buffalo and washing the buffalo, right? Being in the waters. Have you seen in the villages where the guys will wear this kind of a lungi kind of a thing, and then they go inside the waters, right? It's austerity to get this big, huge buffaloes come inside the water, and then you're scrubbing and you're washing. But people are not willing to take like a little cup of water, sit in front of Shaligram Shila and say, Krishna, I'm yours. Please accept me as your servant, and pour some water on the Shaligram. And also the other sentence, Nalkentu naigala saki maneyolu badukkabekendu halanoide. This is also another bhajan where it speaks about I'm keeping dogs in my house and feeding them milk, but I'm not willing to pour a few drops of milk on my deity because I'm thinking, oh, it's a waste. So this is the what is that? I can't hear.
I was just thinking, like, these when we're talking about these people who are not able to do, they don't have the knowledge that Krishna is a Supreme Lord, right? If they had it, I'm sure at least they would have tried or endeavored. But it's like so sad. They're so much in ignorance that because they're unaware of it, they're just doing their mundane things, right?
I mean, that's one category of people who are in ignorance, but here Shukadeva Goswami is specifically saying stubbornly refuse to worship the Lord. So it's not
they're
that they
aware.
don't have the knowledge.
They have, they're not doing it. Okay.
They don't have the faith, maybe they don't have the conviction, maybe they, it's actually an offense. Imagine you have distrust towards God, you have mistrust, you have misunderstanding about God, because you think that God does not want me to be happy, does not provide me, provide or something. I know one of my relatives also who's like, what is all this waste of milk and honey and all during Abhishek and all, why you waste? Like there is still people who have that mentality. These people are born as Brahmanas in very good families, etc. So that's stubbornness. It shows what Shukadeva Goswami is saying, that everywhere materialists suffer the results of their foolish acts. And this particular relative I'm thinking of was very against, was kind of an atheist category. Now he's changing, but still was an atheist category, and would pour money on his family, like relatives buying gifts and this and that. And his foolishness, right? He would not give 1 penny to temple or sadhus. And he was like giving to the family. And that same family betrayed him, like really badly, really, really badly. And so I could see that they are suffering the results of their foolish acts. I saw that. And also my grandfather, some people, like some brothers cheated him. And I saw that they suffered. They all died like painful deaths. Whereas my grandfather called out Narayana and he had just chanted his rounds and no pain, no fever. He just had a massive heart attack and he left. In Telugu, they say, Manchi Valluku Maraname Sakshi. So the way we live our lives, even if we're not hoarding, we're not running after wealth, when we are living our life devotionally, respectfully, we are rewarded with peace of mind, with good health, with good death, all these things. And when people are doing this, what it says, foolish acts, they are not willing, or what is that? Traditionally, they would beat the wheat and make rotis, right? For just to fill the belly, they would do that. But Kuttaro Rangavalliya. Rangavalli is a very extraordinary thing. Rangavalli, Rangoli, we call it these days. It's actually Rangavalli. Means this is pleasing to the Lord. It's an act of surrender to the Lord, that we pour designs in front of our house and invite the Lord to come. And they used to beat the rice and make powder out of it. And from that rice, they would make the decorations. So these were all indications of somebody's connection to the Lord, and identification with the Lord. So here it's like stubbornly they refuse to worship. They will not, it's as you said, training, association. Maybe they are associated with people who you have to show off your wealth and your car and your buffalo and whatnot, but they don't have the sangha of devotees. See, when you're doing offerings to the Lord, it's like nobody may see it. It's between you and the Lord. Like yesterday, I was decorating them with so many flowers, beautiful flowers. And there is no comparison with that fulfillment, doing that in front of, say, wearing a opulent clothes and showing off in the world or something where people see, or wearing flowers in my head or something. So that connection of doing things for the Lord, you need to have certain level of sattva guna. And Taruni, like you were saying, people don't have that sukriti. People don't have that punya. It's not easy to follow the path of Krishna consciousness. It's sometimes we may think, Krishna consciousness is for people who are simple, like, those who don't know how to study scriptures, bhakti yoga is for women, but it's not like that. Prabhupada actually says that this is for the highest transcendentalists, because in bhakti, we are actually developing these qualities, what we discussed yesterday. We're praying for others. We are able to let go of our ego and all that. So it's like highest. It's not the easiest, doesn't mean lowest, and hard path of whatever Ashtanga yoga or something. Hard, because it's hard, it doesn't mean it's the best. So simple, right? Offer the food that you eat. I know so many people born as Brahmanas, so many people, they find it so hard to do that. So hard to do that. So it's all about the bhava. It's about that feeling. Whereas we have other stories in the scriptures where people were so much involved in mood of service, that in their minds they were cooking and offering, right? That is that famous story of the Brahmana who cooked for the Lord in his mind. And then he offered the sweet rice, and the sweet rice was too hot. He said, "Oh, let me check." And he put his hand in the sweet rice, and actually, literally, he got burned. So then he got the proof, and then actually he went back to the spiritual world, because Radha and Krishna were amazed with his ability of devotion through mind, just by thinking of the Lord, just by bhava, just by feelings, just by mood and attitude. He was able to achieve the perfection of life. So he actually went back to the spiritual world. And I don't know, I mean, I don't know if the burnt finger got healed or not, but anyway, that's a different thing. Please continue, Taruni, unless somebody has any questions or comments. These are beautiful, beautiful points, to remember. We are so fortunate. We are so fortunate.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Placing his arms together, the king asked Sukadeva to explain the next page. What the progressive yogi should do after perfecting Virat Rupa meditation. Once the heart is cleansed of material desires by this practice, the yogi can see the Paramatma's spiritual form. Holding up the palm of his right hand, he traced the distance between his third finger and his thumb with the forefinger of the other hand. This is a supersoul's size. Although in my case it is approximately 8 inches, the size will vary proportionately to each body. Placing his right hand over his chest, he said, "He resides here in the region of the heart. He has 4 arms. In his lower right hand, he carries a lotus. In the upper right hand, he holds a weapon resembling a chariot wheel. In the upper left hand is a conch shell, and his lower left hand is a club." Sukadeva's eyes were partially closed in the manner of the yogis. He said, "Lord Vishnu smiles in happiness, and his eyes resemble lotus petals. His garments are yellowish like the saffron of a kadamba flower and are inlaid with valuable gems. Jeweled gold ornaments adorn him, and he wears a shining headdress and earrings." The sage's voice wavered with emotion, and tears trickled down his face. His lotus feet are placed over the whorls of the lotus-like hearts of great mystics. On his chest is a fabulous Kastaba jewel engraved with a beautiful calf, and there are other jewels on his shoulders. His torso is garlanded with fresh flowers. Sukadeva trembled slightly as he continued his description. The Lord is well decorated with an ornamental wreath about his waist and priceless jeweled rings on his fingers. He has bracelets around his ankles and wrists. His oiled hair, curling with a bluish tint, is delightful, as is his beautiful smiling face. The atmosphere became suffused with ecstasy. Parikshit felt shivers of joy run down his spine. The other sages were also caught up with the intense emotion emanating from Sukadeva as he continued. The Lord's magnanimous pastimes and the glowing glances of his smiling face display his extensive benedictions. One must try to always concentrate on this transcendental form. This devotional meditation gradually removes from the heart all traces of lust, which manifest grossly as sex desire and subtly as desires for profit, adoration, and distinction. Parikshit became confused. "Master, earlier you explained that Viratrup meditation frees the yogi from lust. Why do you now say this happens by meditating on the super soul?"
Okay, 2 things came to my mind. One is this. Hridaya kamaladali na ninna pada padumavane nevante mado yaduraja diraja sudarushannadhara yaduraja diraja idane kripe mado madana pita This is exactly the definition of installing the Lord and worshiping his lotus feet in the lotus of our heart. What a beautiful explanation about the two aspects, right? The Jiva Tattva and the Vishnu Tattva aspect, which means that our heart is also a heart where there is a lotus. And then the lotus feet of the Lord is invited into the lotus temple of our hearts, which means imagine how precious and pure and amazing our hearts are. As you know, if we can give a place to the Lord, like somebody asks you, where do you live? Right? So imagine somebody asks Krishna, where do you live? He says, I live in the heart of my devotee, you know, I live in the lotus temple of the heart of my devotee. That's where Krishna lives. So Krishna is in our heart. So we have to meditate on this. And when it says here about, was it here? And in the mind, see, when it says worship, we can worship in so many ways. So we can also worship the Lord with our thoughts. Just as I said, it's our Krishna consciousness is not about kriyatmaka, it's bhavatmaka. Kriyatmaka means based on actions, and bhavatmaka means based on feelings and mood. So our process of devotional life is bhavatmaka. Krishna is bhavagrahi janardana. What he actually receives is the mood. What he actually receives is our feelings, and it's not action. We usually get involved in the action because we want to avoid a relationship with the Lord. We actually don't want to have a close, intimate relationship, which the Lord is always available and open for. That he resides even in our physical heart. Right? That light, that Sukadeva Goswami is saying the height, right? 8 inches, he was saying. So between the third finger and the thumb. So Krishna is situated there. So how do we think we have the audacity to think negative or think that I'm not good enough, or to think that, Krishna can create something which is not good enough, right? So this is an insult to the Lord. We're supposed to actually hold ourselves with great grace and dignity when we realize this. So this bhavatmaka, having that right mood and that right feeling itself can help us advance spiritually. So this is the point here. And when I say worship with our thoughts, when we are offering flowers to the Lord, we are offering also the good and the bad, so that the Lord can keep us close to him without letting these obstacles of negativity come in between. Anybody else has anything to say? I keep talking all the time.
I was thinking this description of this Paramatma feature of the Lord, the description that we are reading, right? This itself, just to know about how he looks, it's like Jadurani, right? The painter in our movement. She was asking Srila Prabhupada, please could you tell how does the Paramatma look, because I need to paint. And Prabhupada was just kidding, joking with her, and he said, oh, that takes millions of years for the yogis to understand. How can I tell you? And she's like, Prabhupada, I'll have to paint. And then he, explained. So I was just thinking, what takes so much of austerity for the yogi to even understand? Here we are just reading in the first canto and second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like, how wonderful and how fortunate.
Yeah. I'm just noticing the coincidence today. In the video, you can actually see Balaji right there, and that's exactly the description. 4 arms, Shankha Chakra, right? It's exactly how the Lord is described. Look at him.
Yes. So sweet, Dala.
Yeah.
My son is very fond of Vishnu.
Oh.
He's just come, he's having a darshan.
Oh, please do. So yeah, we meditate, in our heart. Krishna is in our heart, like that. That's in that form. Beautiful form.
And one more
Padma Ankita Padama. Ankita Kulisha Dvajareka, Ankita Padava. There's so many songs describing the beauty of the Lord. Every inch of the Lord is beautiful. And here you can see Nrsimhadev, Radha Madhava.
I remembered one more incident of how Srila Prabhupada was telling Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He was looking at, I think, this painting, the same kind of Paramatma painting. And then Prabhupada looked at him and then told Bhakti Charu Maharaj, oh, in your heart, he is in the two-handed Shamsundara form. Krishna in your heart is in the two-handed Shamsundara form, because his love was so intense. And then that's how he looks, right? Like how you were saying, the way we, the bhava, the way we imagine the Lord, or the way we want to see the Lord, that kind of feature the Lord will show us with. So that's also so beautiful, right?
Yeah. And imagine he is in the heart of everyone. Everyone. See, that is Krishna. Whether people are calling out Allah or Jehovah or whatever, it is actually Narayana. It is actually that. So it's like, wow. We are really fortunate to be connected to the Parampara, so we actually know these truths. Okay, we can continue a little bit more. What time is it? Almost time, a little bit more, we can finish this paragraph. So he asks, right, why do you say this happens by meditating on the super soul? Kind of coming, no, Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, it's coming in that way right now.
Shukadeva explained that Virata Rupa meditation will free one of the inclination for sexual activity, but the potential for sex desire reawakening will still be present. By meditating on the spiritual form of the Paramatma, however, one will be freed of this also. This is the difference. Shukadeva continued, the yogi should first concentrate on the Lord's feet. Then he should progressively meditate on Vishnu's calves, thighs, and in this way, gradually move higher until he reaches his smiling face. The more intensely he concentrates upon Vishnu's limbs, the more thoroughly his intelligence becomes purified of lust. Parikshit's mind went back to his school days with Kripacharya. He saw himself standing by his teacher in the palace shrine before Vishnu's magnificent altar. Kripacharya had explained that devotees can meditate on the deity as yogis do upon the supersoul.
Okay, we can pause here. Actually, it is said that deity worship removes our lust. So by worshipping the deity, we can actually work on our lusty desires. Please continue.
Yeah, Guru Maharaj also says one who is too much identifies with the body, for him deity worship is recommended. Shukadeva went on. Spiritual neophytes who are still attracted to material enjoyment cannot concentrate upon Paramatma. They must first become purified by performing their prescribed duties, and after retiring, they should take to Virata meditation. Only when attraction for the Lord awakens can they commence Paramatma meditation. Parikshit wanted to know how the accomplished yogi who had successfully meditated on the Paramatma should prepare to die. The sage said, when the yogi is ready to leave his body, he should not be concerned about the time or place. He should stay where he is comfortable and keep his mind and senses under control by continuously meditating on Vishnu. Many sages looked surprised. Parikshit guessed the reason. Shukadeva's statement went against conventional yoga wisdom. Placing his palms together, he said, Master, kindly explain why the Vedas give specific recommendations about the time of a yogi's departure. If this is not important. Shukadeva replied, these strictures are only necessary for yogis who still have traces of material desire in their hearts. They're not important for one who has awakened an attraction for the Lord. In this respect, Krishna reassured your grandfather when he said, For one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain because of his constant engagement in devotional service. Ananyaschintayanto ma yajana paripashate tesham nityabhiyuktanam. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Therefore, the Paramatma realized.
Translate the verse. Please translate.
For those devotees who undeviatedly remember me, and undeviatedly are engaged in my devotional service, for them I preserve what they have and I carry what they lack. Therefore, the Paramatma realized yogi does not need to worry about the time and place of death.
Okay, so this point here, I had a realization that sometimes we are thinking I'm properly situated if I have this conditions. But then Krishna will put us through difficult people or difficult circumstances, which will test our faith, which will test our ability to be unwavering, to be undisturbed, to be steady in our devotional service. So these difficulties that we face in our, I mean, one of you were sharing with me some time ago, how if I'm in this particular situation with everything, I'm so good, my consciousness is so good. But when I'm put with difficult people, then my consciousness gets so triggered. So it's the situation. No, it's not the situation. It's just that we're still not in the Nishta stage. And so Krishna once in a while reminds us, you're still not. No, all these triggers that happen due to difficult circumstances in our life is like our medical test report. We may be feeling certain way, and then when we look at our reports, we understand, it's because I have low iron or low blood pressure or whatever, right? So, so about this point that still having material desire in the hearts, traces of material desires in our hearts, it can come up more often for us. At least for me, it comes up when I'm with some relationships and I'm not able to get my needs met, or I'm not respected in a certain way. Then I see those things coming up for me. Actually, I have this desire to be adored. I have this desire. But when I'm in a circumstance when good association, everything is very nice, I'm feeling, I'm actually very well situated in Krishna consciousness. Then very quickly Krishna will humble me down by putting me in circumstances when I realize, like, I got work to do. So we should be grateful for that. Krishna is helping us there, showing our deficiencies so that we can work on it. Anything else? I think we can end here today. And then we will read more about this beautiful description Sukadeva goes on about. But if you have today I need to give Srimad Bhagavatam class also, so I need to get going a little earlier. But if you have any questions or comments, we can take now. Nice section, no? Such a nice section. For me, it's like reaffirming that the Lord is in my heart. And then the Lord really, look at the love of Krishna for us. How can such a available master, and he's available as a friend, available as a father, available as a lover, whatever bhava we want to approach him with, he will give it to us, just like that. You want to be my friend? Here. Want to be my lover? Here, I'm available. He's waiting. He's a lovesick boy, blue boy who is lovesick, waiting to be called out, waiting to be approached, waiting to be embraced, waiting to be kissed and hugged in any of the rasas we want, right? One of those pictures I really like is Lord Ram embracing Hanuman. I can actually go there and show you. Look at that. Look at these pictures. So sweet. Look at this one here. I'll open it. Oh. I really like this one. Look how good Hanuman looks. Oh, can you see my screen or not?
Yes.
We can't see which picture you're actually liking. We're seeing a lot of pictures.
Oh, got muted. I was saying, showing you. So, there's another one, you know, Krishna embracing his devotee. That's also very sweet. I think that's more a Sakya embrace. This one is also one of my favorite pictures. You can hear me, right? And you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Look at this one. I like this so much, this picture also.
I know a devotee
And
who
every time I'm seeing Krishna's skin, I'm thinking, oh, it feels like the tamal leaves, so soft and so. When will that day come that we can go and embrace?
I think she does.
Hare Krishna, I think Mataji dropped.
I don't think she'll join.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Okay.
She had some internet connection, right? Company disconnect know.
Okay. But I don't know how the host is
Oh,
being
live
killed.
ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ? Live ಇದೆ. Oh, that has to be
Okay.
ended, right? Can you
Yeah.
try ending the live ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋದು?
Yeah, I can end. So I just have to click the end button and that'll be the end
End
of it.
ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡು. End ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡು.
Yeah,
Live
Hare
end
Krishna.
ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡು.
Oh, there's a live end and end also.
Mm.
Okay, I'm just ending it.